alright? You're with Al and Biff, and this is Chronicles of a Not Yet Champion Golfer. We're still at Obama as we're filming this. When you're watching this, we're probably not still here. And I wanted to do a video on what a top tour pro does before they play a tournament, like what their warm-up routine is of what the top pros do. We couldn't find one, so we've got him instead to do it.
Thanks.
Golf Bants.
Don't even know why I'm mates with you.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run through his whole routine, what he does before a tournament, before he pegs it up in a DP World Tour event. Just for argument purposes, I obviously know what you would do, but I'm going to act like I don't.
Okay, like usual.
Yeah, just acting that. So to start with, just obviously this isn't on camera, but you normally see your physio, don't you, before you...
Yeah, so I'll start my warm-up an hour and a half before, so I'll do half an hour's worth of stretching, a little bit of gym work, just to get I'm getting old now and fat, so I just need to do a little bit before coming out to make sure my body's kind of ready to start doing what I'm doing. But usually I start hitting a few putts. So I'll start on a dead straight putt. Obviously I've got a string line here to show sort of like straight up and down the line, and then I've also got a Visio mirror here. Now the thing with the Visio mirror, a couple of magnetic discs here, so I can move these pegs here along, and I always have it on this end one because this is the tightest one. You can see just how tight. There's hardly any allowance at all there. So that's really showing that I'm starting the ball on line. So as the ball goes here, and then it's got a straight edge on it, so I know that if I put my putter against that straight edge, that's perfectly straight and square. So I know that's what a straight putt always looks like to me. I'm aimed straight, and then obviously if I'm starting online, it's going through the pegs.
Purely pick straight putts to start with.
Yep.
Just basically to make sure neutral putt, neutral stroke, everything's in line. That's not, you're not thinking technically, are you? Just making strokes and checking that you are starting it where you want to start it.
There's technical elements in there, make sure the ball position's in the right place and stuff, but I'd actually call this like almost calibrating, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
This is what straight is, this is what straight looks like.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'll start hitting putts either side of it.
Yeah.
Sort of, so if this is straight up the hill, then I know down the right hand side is right to left, down the left hand side is left to right. That wasn't even in the middle of the thing, and I don't know why I hit the putt.
That's not what you do in a warm-up, is it? You would full routine these, yeah?
Yeah, I'd have a proper read, proper line up. I'm probably not really talk because I'm trying to hold it.
Doesn't make a difference, does it?
Yeah, I don't, I'm getting too good at it.
Pro, aren't you?
Ball's gone.
So pro, aren't you?
Oh, I'm alright.
Sorry, balls are in my pocket.
It's alright, being a proper caddy there, yeah.
Part of my job, I'm just watching to make sure you're stroking it alright.
Alright. Yeah, I like to see, obviously, this is just a little bit outside the right lip for me. So now I'm just trying to match a bit of pace and line as well. That was purely just line. You know, I could hit that in any pace, where now I'm just trying to match the two up now. Trying to get a little bit of a feel of the greens ready for the day in front of me.
Beauty. This is where it's really important when you're talking about making the line match the pace. That comes down to specific greens at different courses as well, doesn't it? And that's what, I mean, you've done a lot of that in practice. And
yeah.
I know in practice days, we'll spend a lot of time on the greens, almost not playing as many holes as maybe what some players might. You'll spend much more time on the greens, getting used to breaks, how much you have to aim outside the hole, matching it in with the pace.
Yeah.
Your start lines, it's key, isn't it?
I'm not saying it's notoriously a weakness for me, but it's an element of my game I need to spend more time at.
Yeah.
That's why every day in warm-up I always start with it, to make sure it's done and I've kind of done my job in that for the day ahead. Even if it's just for 10 minutes of my first part of the warm-up.
I'm not being funny, but you're performing here.
Oh, I'm just knocking these in. Oh, overpaced one.
Yep.
But that just shows I've just overpaced it relative to the line. There's nothing different. Nothing to lose confidence over, and this is exactly why you're warming up, really.
Well, that's why starting with the straight putt on the string line, knowing you're hitting a straight putt all the time, that's why this putt becomes the same. It's just your start line is different, that's all.
And I'm just trying to add the correct pace.
You're making the exact same stroke as if it's a straight putt. Beauty.
There we go. Lovely.
So you do that for...
Probably only 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it takes a couple of minutes to set this up, But I probably sort of fly around that, just trying to find a bit of flow, not thinking about it too much. There's no need for any thought because this is set up perfectly square. The other two, I'm just getting a feel for the pace. I'd actually come back and putt just before my tee time as well though.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I'd always start with the putter in my hand doing, like I say, 10 minutes worth, 15 minutes worth to start what I want to do. And then I'd make my way to the range.
Just to interrupt you, one thing to sort of think about as well, it's not, you know, a lot of people will say pros the warm up and they'll have like 5 balls doing this, 5 balls doing that, 5 balls doing that, and it's the same every time. It can't be, can it? Because sometimes courses, the putting green's far away from the first tee, and it's kind of...
Yeah, you've got to take into account like going to a chipping green, walking to a putting green, walking to the range. Also, some days you'll feel better with the putter than you will with the 7-iron.
Yeah.
So you might just hit a couple more with a 7-iron and 1 or 2 less with a putter.
Yeah.
But your basic outline of what you're going to do needs to have like exactly that
structure.
A basic outline.
Yeah. Right, so we crack on from putting.
Range. And obviously you've seen me and him use a TRS, but for this I just pull out a stick. Time you mess around getting TRS on, it's brilliant if you've got hours just to get it on, get it right, blah blah blah. With a stick I can literally pick it up, grip it, chuck it on the floor, pick it up, chuck it on it, you know, it's dead easy for me.
So if you're doing a full practice session, you'd have TRS out, but yeah.
But for a warm-up, I'd just pull a stick out. So I like that down the back of the shaft, and the reason I do this, right, so I'll just start off now with a little bit of pitching. I know I'm doing exactly the same as what I do with TRS.
Yeah.
So it'd be making sure that my body's rotating as the sort of club's sitting on the side of my body. So as you can see, I'm starting to hold the loft correctly, and the club's then sort of rotating around myself, and it's just a way of keeping everything in check. You'll probably notice during this whole thing, it's not a practice session, it is a warm-up, but it just has these elements of like calibration of
I was just
keeping
about to
everything
say,
neat and tidy.
the same with the putting, everything's feel-based, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not technical, it's not trying to find something that I've done in the past. When I was playing more, like when I was playing Euro Pro and stuff, I'd get on the range in the morning, and sometimes I'd have a 2 o'clock tee time, and I'd be like, I'll go on the range at 8. Like I would, I'd try and find it, and then panic an hour before when I actually do my warm-up.
To be fair, we're staying together this week, and he does set silly alarms. He keeps getting up to watch the sunrise, which is really nice.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty, yeah.
It's also a pain in the arse.
Why wouldn't you want to?
Anyway,
Look at that. So when you've got this stick out, you're not particularly any specific number?
no specific number. It's a bit of a feel of a position, like in my backswing, if you want to work in clock face or whatever. There is a feel, sort of that sort of length shot. It probably equate to what I'd say 60 yards.
Yeah.
Like 50, 60 yards, just clipping it down there.
Hit a few then. I mean, I took the piss before saying I wanted to do it with a top tour pro but couldn't find one, but I mean that's good. It's hard to do. To make a swing look that rhythmical with that stick, it's difficult.
Yeah, it is.
It is difficult. And it looks easy. I suppose that's why you are
average.
Pretty good, yeah.
So yeah, after that I'd probably wind it up to get the hands up to right shoulder just for a few.
And you're just looking probably around 10 shots like this?
Yeah, just enough. Again, like we said on the putting green, it's just enough that I feel like I'm now moving correctly.
Yeah.
If it takes one more ball or one ball less, then it is feel based, but also I'm not going to stand here for an hour doing it, trying to find it. I'm conscious I will have to move on.
Here's one: Paul won't start. He'll never start with hitting chip shots, because if he hasn't hit fuller shots like this, it's amazing. Remember when Tiger come back after his injury, and he come back playing and he was like duffing chips all the time because his back still wasn't in the right place.
Yeah.
If you haven't hit bigger shots to start with, you're like that, aren't you? With
horrific. It's almost yippee.
You wouldn't think you need to be particularly warmed up to hit chip shots, but if the body doesn't work properly and you haven't got the feels, it's so strange. Some people will be different, but for you, you know you've got to do this.
I've got to do this before I'd hit any other balls.
They were lovely though.
Thank you. Next, I would obviously take my stick, I'd stick that on the deck and I'd line it up to something. Obviously if it's really windy, you'd probably work a bit more field based, but if it's nice and still like today, I just give myself an idea again of what square is. So I'd aim it at a target I want to hit at, and again I can start to actually get an idea of where I am in space, of what straight at the target looks like to me. When I look up, that's where the target is. Again, just calibrating, just keeping all these things neat and tidy.
Yeah. So easy to get into bad habits, and if you're practicing in the wrong way and you're not paying attention to these basics, setup, alignment, start line, massive, with everything throughout the bag, isn't it? That
absolutely.
putting,
So
pitching, driving.
If you don't do
everything.
this, and you do loads and loads of work, you could be aiming 10 yards down the left and pushing everything, and then before you know it, you've got something funky in your golf swing. Purely because you weren't aiming it in the right place.
Yeah.
Makes sense to kind of keep these bits neat and tidy. So after I've done my stick work, I've had a bit of feeling now, so I'm just going to go up and down with my 100-yard club. We've talked about this before, which is my 60-degree Vokey SM8. I'm being really official today, by the way.
Yeah, formal.
So I'd work in sort of 10, so I'd go 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then back down in kind of 5, so I'll come back down 95, 85, 75, 65. Oh, he's being professional now as well. Thanks.
That would be my role during the warm-up.
Clean that shit.
Carry on. Clean it yourself. It's interesting watching the players on the range. They're all different, all completely different. Some of them have balls set aside, you know, like that's the 7-iron balls, that's the 5-iron balls, that's the 3-wood balls, that's the driver balls, and they do the same thing every time. I personally like the one where you can have a bit of room for changing it and getting the right feels, exactly what you were talking about.
Thanks.
I should do that myself.
I'll do your job for you. And again, it's not like this is like absolutely definite. I could have a TrackMan out, I could have all that sort of thing out, but this is just a feel. This is just me, exactly what I've just said, warming up.
Yeah. Well, the TrackMan work's done in practice rounds again.
Yeah.
So many different, they play many different places, different countries. Part of the TrackMan work, it's done before this, because the same swing, say here in Tenerife, the same swing might go 90 yards and make exactly the same swing when you're at the British Masters, and it'll go 82. And again, that's a calibration thing that you've done during the practice rounds, just to know exactly what's happening.
After I've dialed in with the 60, then I get into wedge, maybe even 54 degree. Now I'm starting to think about shots for the golf course.
Okay.
So again, I'll build up a little bit like what I did with the 60, and I'll work at sort of 120, 125, 130, 135, 140. Just with the wedge, so I can still get a feel of pace for the shots I'm trying to hit.
That's one thing you are quite specific with. You'll always use the same clubs to warm up, won't you?
I will.
Generally, you'll go 60 into
wedge or 54, then 9-iron, 7-iron. Yeah, it's just, I don't know why. I think it's just a bit habitual, isn't it, at that point? Again, you're going to hit the odd bad shot when you're warming up, but that's the whole point. Yeah. You're just warming up.
It's part of it. That's so easy to hit a bad one and think, oh, I'm not going to play very good today now. That's it, gone. Lost it, off stick, got it.
I've actually done it before though, when I've ripped it on the range, gone, oh no, used up all my good ones for the course now.
It's good thought, isn't it?
So a few more wedges. And you'll probably notice as well, my warm-up is actually really wedge heavy. So it is kind of building it up with the wedges is kind of a key point to me.
Well, you were saying before about feels.
Yeah.
And because you've gone like from the putting into pitching, you're feeling the positions of the swing almost subconsciously, but you're building the swing up to be longer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your technical work without it being consciously technical, isn't it?
I would actually put and then chip and then pitch, but my chipping is horrific.
Like we said, yeah.
If I don't hit a few balls first.
Yeah.
So a few 9-irons now. Again, it's not a full 9-iron. I'm going to work it up at sort of 140. Then sort of 145. And now it's going to be what you'd probably call your first full shot, if you know what I mean. Now we're starting to add a bit of speed in what we're doing.
And now you know you're pretty much warmed up, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
You know what I mean? You're pretty loose now. Like you can see there was more speed in that then.
Yeah.
And you're kind of ready to go. You just kind of work through the clubs now.
Yeah, exactly that.
Go a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Bosh on the first tee, smash. Overly excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm still working down this line, still to the same target. So I'm still with 7-iron. And now I might start aiming a little bit right or a little bit left of my line as well, just starting to hit it into a couple of zones, maybe just starting to sharpen up the direction, maybe a little bit of shape in there.
A bit of vision of shots.
Yeah,
really.
nothing mad, just trying to get the ball falling. A little bit of fade on that one, try and move the next one the other way. And again, I'm not suddenly hitting hard hooks, and I'm not getting frustrated if it doesn't go in the right spot, but I'm just starting to get a feel for what's going on, and the wind's starting to pick up now as well. So I can start trying to shape a ball into the wind as well as let the ball go on the wind. I'm starting to get a real feel for what I'm doing. So now a few 7-irons, and again, like Al said, it's not specific. You know, I'm not stood here saying I'm going to hit 15 7-irons or 12 5-irons. It's just that feels about right now. That feels at the right speed. Move into the next club and just carry on building the speed.
This is some level of confidence from me stood here.
Well, this is 4-iron. Don't stand up, mate. I like my 4-iron.
Good. Because I was fearing it then.
And like you said, Al, you just see the speed kind of just increasing.
Oh my God. And literally horrendous that, you know.
I don't think you'd sit there for a normal warm-up, would you?
Nope.
But now we'd get into a bit of a choice now on the day. So if it's windy, I might stick with, warm up with my 2-iron. If it's not too windy and the course dictates, it'll be 5-wood.
It's not called a 5-wood though, is it?
It's not called a 5-wood, no.
Lost the little plastic things. So he's just written on it, moon. Moonwood. Moonwood, that. Because it goes to the moon. Pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, just a couple of these, nothing silly. To feel like the swing's now getting to the correct pace, and we're just trying to make sure that it's going somewhere near the target. Again, not getting too obsessed with it. It is just a warm up. Yeah, so into 3-wood. Again, couple off a tee peg. Especially if the golf course dictates that you might hit 3-wood off a tee. Strong 9 it.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like this.
Yeah, it is a good 3-wood that.
For those who want to know, it's the TSI 2. 15 degree, 10 side blue in it. Whoa.
Got that shaft in every wood, haven't you?
Yeah, I love it. A little bit of the higher the face, no spin. So yeah, a couple off the deck.
This, I was going to go front view again. I like this.
Oh,
I mean, I don't like it, but it makes me feel dangerous. Big dog.
For me, and you've seen this before, Al, literally a couple of drivers.
Yeah.
Hiya.
Hello.
But I've got confidence from my warm-up that I can literally just get straight in with driver and swing it pretty flat out, and I'm going to have no little niggles or injuries. The only other thing I would do now is if it's 2 iron off the first, I'd hit 2 iron, maybe 1 or 2. If I'm starting on the 10th at a tournament and it's a par 3, I get an idea of the yardage and just hit maybe a couple of 7 irons or a couple of 6 irons or whatever club that is. I'd always finish off with what I was going to hit on the first tee.
Would you go, it depends on the course again, with chipping green and stuff.
Yeah.
Whether you go and hit some chips or whether you dig a big hole and put them in a truck or not.
I'd normally go to a chipping green, so let's go and do that. So I go straight to my most lofted, which is my 60. And again, I just start just with a little bit of a, not finding the strike, but just making sure the strike's good. Ball's going onto the green with the correct pace. Aiming at a target, but not, again, not too concerned at this point. More just bumbling the ball forward consistently, making sure the bounce is working correctly. You know, just not panicking.
yeah, not hitting the big red button yet.
Yeah.
Well, part of it, and loads of this is done in practice round, but turf's different everywhere you play. You said here, like, you figured out you need to get heel down a little bit more because the turf kind of is really like puffs up, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I would have done all that in my practice
exactly,
rounds.
Yeah. So when it comes to this, it is literally getting a bit of a feel for it, so that you can go out on the course and you're clear in your head. You don't need to think about anything.
No. So back onto something we talked about in the chipping videos we've done. We've talked about, you know, developing a shot that lands halfway and then runs the other half. So again, I've gone to 60 to start off with. Today I think that's 54 from a 50-50 shot. So again, I'll hit a couple of these to make sure again that if I do land it halfway, it runs the other half. Nearly goes in. Likewise, figure out where half is, land it halfway, let it run the other half, and then from there go into the one that I you know, you might be on a links course, you might be somewhere it's a bit quicker or a little bit sort of tighter around the fringes. Just, you know, there's a couple of shots with that one that goes 25 and runs 75. Which I pulled my 8 iron out for today. Obviously a bit of a slope in this green, but again, you get the idea, and I'm just, like I say, I'm just getting a feel for, you know, what could potentially come in the day, preparing for everything. You know, a couple of those, and then just a little bit of playing around, bit of feel, back to the 60. You know, I might pick another little flag now. Nothing adventurous, but maybe something that just makes me focus on the pace of the ball going onto the green. Have to soften it or flight it down. Something a little bit different.
Go!
Likewise, move to another flag. A little bit of a flop shot, a little bit of a lofted shot. You know, and that wasn't a great strike, not panicking, you know, roll another one in. Not worried about it too much yet. Try and play the same shot again. There you go. Technique was better that time. Much better shot. And then from there into a bunker.
Although one thing missing.
Go on. Rough.
No.
Go on.
My ceremonial chip shot.
Your ceremonial chip. Oh yeah, he always has to hit one.
Always. One shot, under pressure. Normally a horrific lie, and we actually do this. Valderrama was the worst, wasn't it?
It was, to be fair. That's not bad. I was going in.
It's alright, isn't it?
Nice.
That's my job done. Bunker.
I'll start by sort of drawing my lines in, striking the line, only for 2 or 3, make sure the club's bottoming out. A little feel for the sand, standing in. You know, and for the first part, I'm giving myself good lies, you know, nice bit of confidence.
Oh, Beauty. It's all based again on feeling the club bottoming out. It's not. There's no technical thought, is there?
No, there's not. It's the stuff I do on a daily basis, and this is the important thing with a warm up, is doing the same thing every time. Because then your body's used to that's how you warm up. You're not throwing something in there that's a bit of a spanner in the works, going to make you feel a bit funny.
Yeah. And this is where, and I've done it in the past, is there's been no difference between a warm-up session and a practice session. Again, when I was playing full time, I was much more focused on it being a practice session than a warm-up and trying to find it, as opposed to literally preparing myself physically to go out and play the best that I could.
And that's all you're trying to do, is get yourself in the right headspace. So, you know, I've drawn a line, hit a few shots that way. Just move target, just hit a couple, not...
You'd only hit 5 or 6, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you know, it's 5 minutes. It's not 2 hours, it's not 30 minutes. It's just getting the feel for what's going on. And if you hit some nice shots, you're gaining a bit of confidence that you can go and do it. So from here, I'd just have a little wander out and hit a couple of longer putts before heading to the first tee now. It's funny, I like doing bunker play before going to the first tee because it's still quite a long swing. It's still keeping my body moving. You know, I'm pretty sure someone on this will ask the question, well, why don't you finish off with driver and go straight to the first tee? For me personally, I just like that 10-minute break, just doing a bit of short game before going straight into the golf course. Because again, like we said before, if I've had a crap warm-up, I don't want to go straight to the first tee with those feelings and thoughts. I want to go and just do a little bit of chipping, something different to just break the feel, then go again. Likewise, if I've had a great warm-up, well, I've had a great warm-up, I can just carry on with that sort of thought as I'm going around the chipping green. And
you're still moving. Shots. You're not spending 10 minutes doing nothing, you're still moving.
Still moving, hitting.
So you're still going to be ready to go.
Body's still moving, even if you're hitting flop shots, if you're hitting bunker shots, you're still making pretty much full swings.
Yeah. It's very good, that. It's very professional, I thought.
Oh, you like
From
that?
you, like, yeah, it's very professional. Made a change. Oh, we're going to go and play now. I've done no warm-up.
Well, watch this back and you can see how it's done.
Thanks for watching.
See you next Tuesday.